Hello, I am Abisha, Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Emmanuel Arasaf JJ College of Engineering. Today we are discussing about extreme programming and agile processes. First one is extreme programming. The software development processes designed to focus on four things: coding, testing, listening and designing. Feedback is built into the development practices, not bolted on. No phases. You do all four of those things all the time. The core XP practices are rapid, fine feedback, test-driven design via unit and acceptance test, on-site customer, pair programming, continuous processes, continuous integration, merciless refactoring, small frequent release, shared understanding, planning game, symbol design, system metaphor, collective code ownership, coding conventions, developer welfare, 40-hour week. Next one is an organic process. Each practice serves multiple purposes in the processes as a whole. The processes are interdependent. Each practice on its own is flawed and insufficient. Strength of other practices compensate. Next one is many implicit practices, caves and comments, fixed iterations, engineering task, write it on a card, spike solutions, all test all the time, promiscuous pairing, yesterday's weather, track velocity, track progress, regression test. Next one is the most common objections are that cannot work. Everyone knows you cannot build software that way. Don't bother, it has worked and it is working today. It can still fail for various reasons, but when it works particularly well. Next one is characteristics of successful XP projects. Very rapid development, exceptional responsiveness to user and customer change request, high customer satisfaction, amazingly low error rates, system begins returning value to customers very early in the process. Next one is common XP misconceptions. No written design documentation. Truth, no formal standards for how much or what kind of documents are needed. No design. Truth, minimal explicit. Upfront design. Design is an explicit part of every activity through every day. XP is easy. Truth, although XP does try to work with the natural tendencies of developers, it requires great discipline and consistency. Next one is more misconceptions. XP is just legitimized hacking. Truth, XP has extremely high quality standards throughout the process. Unfortunate truth, XP is sometimes used as an excuse for sloppy development. XP is the one true way to build software. Truth, it seems to be a sweet spot for certain kinds of projects. Next one is XP and software engineering. Where software engineering went wrong. Where I am coming from. I don't believe in the one true process. XP is not right for every project. Classical SE methods are not wrong for every project either. I have never experienced a traditional software engineering process on a project for which it was well suited. Where I am going. What we now call software engineering was response to a particular problem in software development. Different responses are possible and often preferable. Although software engineering works well for certain kinds of projects, it is inappropriate for the vast majority of software being developed today. What I mean by software engineering. Software development processes that emphasize one or more of these things: exhaustive requirements, finding and eliminating errors before they find their way to the code, expensive process elements for measuring and tracking the process itself, extensive elaboration, analysis, and verification of models. Coding is a simple translation of the model. Yes, I know this is a straw man. What I don't mean by software engineering. Waterfall life cycle. The software engineering mainstream has embraced iterative and incremental development to some degree. Software engineering blender. Avoiding costly situations rather than optimizing measures used for avoidance cost more than the original problem points. This is the cost errors of increase through a project's lifetime. Next one is the software engineering solution. Try to push changes as far toward the start of the process as possible. Next one is secondary effect. The measure is to increase the cost of everything. Next one is budget pressure resist. The budget pushes these costs back down through limits on manpower. Next one is budget pressure resist. The budget pushes these costs back down through limits on manpower. Next one is budget pressure resist. The budget pushes these costs back down through limits on manpower, which just pushes the schedule out. Next one is the XP answer. Find ways to make change after, find inexpensive ways of avoiding errors, reduce overall cost of development. Next one is software engineering blender 2. Poor understanding of more mature engineering disciplines treats engineering as a methodical, replicable process. Result: software engineering recommends gradual elaboration with limited feedback into earlier stages of development. In iterative software engineering processes, this is done for every iteration. Next one is the XP answer. In reality, engineering involves creativity, trial and error, iteration, experimentation, and prototyping. Work that into the process with multiple tight feedback loops at all scales. Next one is software engineering blender 3. Faculty analog with engineering disciplines treats coding as analog to building or manufacturing. Engineers try to avoid building or manufacturing anything until they are confident of their design, because those steps are costly. Result: software engineering recommends other costly steps including highly detailed models, model analysis, and careful inspection to ferret out errors before coding begins. Next one is the XP answer. Coding is the detail, not the only design activity. Manufacturing is equal to the compilation and build process. Iterative prototyping and testing are less expensive than all the careful analysis and inspection. Ask some engineers how many prototypes they would build if prototypes were free. Next one is the Agile process movement. Manifesto for Agile software development. We are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others to do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools, rating software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to changeover following a plan that While there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. Next one is the XP book series. Extreme Programming Explained, Embrace Change by Ned Beck. Extreme Programming installed by Ron Jeffries and Anderson and Chet Hendrickson. Planning Extreme Programming by Kent Beck and Martin Fowler. Extreme Programming in Practice by James Newkirk and Robert Martin. Extreme Programming Explored by William Week. Extreme Programming Examined by Giancarlo Saxi and Michael Marchesi. Extreme Programming Applied, Play to Win by Ken Orr and Troy Miller. Available 12 October 2001. Thank you.